Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Muscatine Today Show. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I am excited about today's show. So it's not often that I get to sneak somebody out of school, but today is the day for that. I got to sneak Hannah out of Wilton, out of school, and she's here to talk about some of the successes that she's had. But before we talk about all of that, I want to talk about our cool sponsors and how thankful we are for all of them. So thank you so much to our sponsors. Without them, we just literally would not have the show. We wouldn't be able to shine a light on all of the cool stuff that's happening in Muscatine County and all the nonprofits that are doing great things in our town and in our surrounding towns. So thank you so much to all of our sponsors of the show. We appreciate you so much. Thank you so much to Muscatine Power and Water, to Rivo Plumbing and Heating, to Impact Life Blood Center. Shout out and a little maybe push for you guys. If you're able to donate blood right now, if you're eligible, please go and donate blood. I know winter months for them, it's really hard to get people in. It's cold, people want to stay inside, but those donations are still needed all year long. It's still needed. So please go and donate some blood if you are eligible. Our friends over at Lutheran Living and Toyota of Muscatine, our newest sponsor, John Becky Insurance. We are so glad to have you on board with the Muscatine Today Show as well. Suntan City of Muscatine, they have a ton of great deals going on, $1 upgrades and tons of other great things that you'll see later on the show during commercials. Real Estate Resource Associates, Unity Point Health Trinity Muscatine, and then of course Hy-Vee. We're sitting here in front of the new Wahlburgers, and if you haven't tried it yet, you definitely need to. And we'll talk about some other great things that Hy-Vee has going on now until the end of the weekend here, some special sales and stuff. But I want to dig right in because I am surrounded right now. I'm sitting right next to like a pretty famous girl right now. So Hannah is here with us this morning and her coach. So I'll just dig right in. I think most people, unless you've been living under some sort of rock, probably has heard, but I want to talk a little bit about what led to the championship and all the work that went in, because we all heard about the championship and about winning, and you know, we saw the paper and all of the things that, you know, you've said it, you know, people have been coming to you and wanted to do interviews, but so much work, you know, is put in before that. And so I want to talk about that today as well. But holy cow, this is amazing. So tell us what happened on Saturday for you.
So the beginning of the morning, I knew I had 2 matches.
Yep.
For sure. And I didn't know for sure how they were going to go, but I just knew I had to go out and wrestle and do what I knew how to do. And my first match wasn't great. I'd gotten some bad positions, but I ended up winning overall, and that was okay. And I had a big break in between my first match and my second match of the day, and I knew that was a semifinal match. So if I won that one, I was going to go into the finals, which had always been a dream and something that I had been working for. And I had a feeling of who I was going to be wrestling, and I've actually wrestled her before, almost a year prior. And so, yeah, when I won that match, I think it meant just as much as the finals, if not more, because I was seeded 3rd and ranked 3rd, and she was ranked number 1. So I had proved all that wrong and proved everybody wrong. I feel like, and I guess I didn't, and it was all me. It was nobody else, and it was leading all up to that point, and it was awesome. And if the youth people saw the pictures, and IA Wrestle posted all the pictures and floated too of the pictures of me hugging Burkle and Bourne, and it was awesome. And it just it
I
meant
think
a
we
lot.
have those pictures that Jess pulled up for you guys, but what passion, I mean, to see, because I think it goes to prove, I mean, it was definitely like your battle out there on the mat, but so much work. And I mean, I think for the coaches too, and you can
Yeah.
probably attest to this, you guys, I mean, you guys work right alongside the athletes and really want what's best for each and every one of them.
He's sweating just as much as us half the time from just yelling and
you can see it. And we were talking the other day, actually, Tom Olsis from the Muscatine high school was here, and we were talking about some muskie sports, and we got on the subject of wrestling and just talking about the passion that really, when you go to a wrestling meet, it's like a whole different atmosphere when you're at a wrestling meet or a wrestling tournament. Just the passion and the people down around the mat, and just like it is different. And I think for the coaches it's different too. You're like right down there and you're just like. And so talk to me a little bit about how you were feeling, during that match too.
Not just that match. I mean, every match, the weekend, everything that culminated there. But, from the coach's standpoint, it's seeing, not only Hannah making history for Wilton and for female wrestling across the state, but knowing everything on the backside that goes into it and seeing her achieve her goals and her dreams, and having that pleasure of being mat side and in the corner, and your heart and our own emotions are into it, and every step along the way, because we know what she's capable of, and going out there to see it happen, and all of it come to fruition, and emotions come high, and it's a great feeling, and the intensity and what it is, and just seeing her prove to everybody what she is capable of, and everything that's gone into it along the way. It's a great feeling.
Yeah. So when you said you had wrestled her before.
Yeah, in the semifinal match.
And so it's like, is it better to know, or is that just more pressure? Like knowing, is it better to know what to expect, or was it better to go in there and wrestle someone that you've just never even wrestled before? Like,
at state,
as far as like the mental,
At state, it was kind of like, I know a lot of other girls had looked at their brackets, and my mom and some of my coaches in Burkle had always said, stay off track wrestling, don't look at the brackets, you don't need to worry about it. And just to keep me mentally just kind of at peace, because I think that a lot of wrestling for me is a lot mental, just as much as it is physical. And so just to keep a good mentality, just I don't need to know who I'm wrestling, I don't need to know what their record is, because none of that matters when it comes down to it. And I knew she was ranked number 1 because people had told me, and that's okay. And I know, and how bracket works, I've just been around wrestling, that the number 3 seed and the number 1 seed should wrestle in the they should meet each other for the semifinals. And so I knew, I had a feeling that I was gonna have to wrestle her, but I know at AAU last year when I wrestled her for the first time, I was beating her 10-3 and got pinned. So it's like, I knew I could score my points. I knew she was beatable. She wasn't unbeatable. And I think I just proved that you just have to finish the match and just keep battling all the time. And it was revenge, but not, because she's a super sweet girl. I don't want anyone to think she's like a horrible person, because she's not. And I don't hate her or anything, because she's great. And she was the first person to hug me when I came off the mat from the finals. And she said, she's a senior, and so she said, if it was going to be anyone, it was going to be you. And she's like, she was very proud of me, and I was very proud of her too, because she was third, so she won her match in the finals.
Yeah. Very cool. So speaking of like finals, I mean, holy cow. Holy cow. Like, talk to me about finals.
So I knew it was going to be tough.
Of course.
And the coaches told me,
if finals isn't tough, then there's something going on.
The coaches told me that you just have to go out and wrestle and do what you know how to do, and wrestle your match, and you'll be fine. You have nothing to worry about. And I knew I had beaten the person that was deemed unbeatable, and this was my time to go prove to everyone that I was capable of doing it. And I did not expect to pin her in the first period by any means, but I took control and I stayed calm, and that was my thing, because earlier in the day and in the tournament there was moments where I'd gotten very flustered, gotten just a little bit too nervous and a little bit too quick almost, when you don't think about that always, but it was just slow down and slow your brain down and you'll be fine. And so I just tried my best to just remember, and I knew Brooklyn Borner in my corner, and it was going to be fine. I didn't have to worry about anything.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so when you did get the pin, like, I mean, seriously, what went through your mind? Were you like,
I was like,
holy cow, that just happened?
First of all, the ref, I looked at the ref's face. I remember this now. He was smiling because he's been at other tournaments. You see the same refs a lot of the time.
Sure, yep.
And he was smiling at me, and I didn't even know what to think, and I only had one contact in, so I couldn't see.
I couldn't see. I was blind.
I was like, I was like
blind.
But I was like crying in my eyes, and I was just like, oh my gosh. And then I look over at Burkle, and they're hugging each other, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I just did that. Like I'm capable
really just
of so
happened.
much.
Yeah.
And the ref was like, come here, like I need to raise your hand, and I was like, okay, I'm coming. It was just like a blur almost.
Right.
Literally and yeah.
Like literally it was a blur. She couldn't see, but
but yes, it was okay. It was
Awesome.
amazing. It was just an amazing feeling, and it was just like almost a relief that all the pressure of everything that everyone had put on me and that all that mental like work that I had done was it just paid off right in that moment. So it was awesome.
That is amazing. And so I guess, I mean, congratulations.
Thank you.
Holy cow. And then to have the other big announcement about, I think so many, we were talking about this actually before the show, just, you see, I was just at a youth wrestling tournament last weekend to watch my nephew, and you see so many young ladies, young girls wrestling in youth wrestling. And then you go to junior high and high school, and you just rarely see girls anymore at those levels, and you just wonder, it's like, where do those girls go? Why do they stop? And we know some of the reasons behind that, but to know now that those girls who are passionate about it and who just stop for those certain reasons don't have to anymore and can keep going. And I mean, that is amazing.
I think it'll just sanctioning it will make it easier for girls, and it can make them definitely feel more comfortable.
Sure.
And now schools, I guess they don't have to require it, but if there is a group of girls within a school that want to participate, it gives them an opportunity to say, okay, now it's not just a side thing. It is sanctioned. It is a sport. And if we want to have a team, if we want to be supported, you have to at least let us try. And so I think that I had 2 girls come into practice yesterday, and 2 girls from my school that wanted to come out and try it. Just not only from me winning, but the sanctioning of it, and them knowing that there's so much coming for the sport, and so many opportunities for these girls now that weren't there before. And so I think it's awesome, and I think it'll help little girls stick with it too. And I know so many messages of parents saying that their little girls have watched me, and they were just so happy for me because I was so happy, and now they want to try it because they saw how happy I was, and that makes me happy just to know that I'm an inspiration like that, and I can be like that for your kid. I think that's awesome.
Being an inspiration for a little girl is a tall order.
It feels awesome, but I just have to remember that I always have eyes watching me, and I always kind of knew that, I think, a little too, because there was always other coaches from other schools that would come up to me and say, after tough losses, or even when I would, there was a couple times where I won in a big match at tournaments and stuff. They're like, "That's amazing. You're doing awesome. Keep it up. Never quit." It's just like that little boost of energy. It was awesome. And then all those coaches coming up to me Friday, even after my semifinals match, they're like, "You did amazing. Like, that is awesome. You never stopped. You never stopped pushing." And I think that's why I feel like I got to where I was. I think that's why. That's why I finished on top.
Having people behind you is so important. But I feel like without even knowing you, just hearing from people who do know you and reading some of the interviews and some of the stories that have been written, you know, I can tell that you have a strong personality and that you're a good role model for people to look up to, and that is amazing and so awesome for Wilton, for Muscatine community, for everyone in the area. So I'm excited for that because definitely kids need good people to look up to. So for you as a coach, how do you guys feel about this, and how do you think it might change the wrestling program moving forward?
Just as Hannah said, I mean, last Saturday she made history. She went out and did what we knew she was capable of and achieved her goals, and that already set some wheels in motion within our own walls within our school. We've already got a couple girls that, hey, can we know it's the end of the season, but can we come in and try a few things out and, you know, see what it is kind of like. And knowing that, you know, we had a great pep assembly on Monday too, congratulating her.
Yes,
and
that was awesome.
Getting the whole 712 building down there to see the success and what everybody, you know, what is capable for some of the young ladies within our own building, not, you know, and aside from just Muscatine County. And we got some great programs in our area that I'm hoping, and it is going in the way that we want it to, is, hey, we'll create separate practices. We got, now it's sanctioned, we'll be able to, you know, travel as a team, as a group of females going together and being their own team and being able to go set their own records, and not just, like Hannah said, not just be all right, I'm a part of this or a part of that. Now they get to be their own
thing.
And go have fun.
We also got to talk to Jean Berger, the director of the Iowa Girls Athletic Union, and she said it's like all good things take time, and I knew that it was coming soon, but I also, and everyone was like, where is it at? Like, why hasn't it been sanctioned? But like she said, there's a set of rules so that things can be done correctly. And so, and I'd rather it take a little bit more time, and it did take a little bit more time, I guess, than it be rushed and there be things that are wrong, and you get into situations where there's people break rules and things like that. So it's now, I think we can move forward a lot easier than we could before. And we can have practices with other schools and there not be an issue, and we can all work together and really like keep the movement going and just keep getting more girls out.
Keep that momentum going in the right direction and have it be a good story. So tell me what's next for you. Like, what do you have a goal set for what's kind of next?
Yeah, so
already? Yeah, I'm sure.
On the goal board, I wrote on the third day of practice, the whole team writes goals on the board, and I wrote a 120-pound high school and AAU state champion on there, because AAU is like the club side of things, and because it wasn't sanctioned, girls were always allowed through high school to compete there. And so obviously the other half of my goal is to win AAU too. So that's kind of the next thing.
When's that happen?
That's
3 weeks.
I would say end of February.
Okay.
So I mean, I took Monday off and Tuesday off, but now
I mean, that's probably earned.
Yeah, I'm back in the room now, getting to practice, work with those girls that wanted to come in, and that was awesome. Because I go to a smaller school.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I consider them both my friends, and all the girls that want to come out, we can become friends through it and just create a really good team. But after AAU, it's kind of right into freestyle season. So in high school, we wrestle folk style, but girls in college wrestle freestyle, which is a completely different style of wrestling. And in anything past college, because in college you wrestle freestyle, and anything competitive, like Olympic-wise, is all freestyle. So it's good to have freestyle in your back pocket and be able to understand it, practice it, and compete it if you can. And my goal is to be a freestyle state champion and get the chance to wrestle at Fargo too, because that is a big national tournament, and that just to get to go out on a stage that big, because it's a very large tournament. So yeah, I think that would be good.
Sounds like you have some big goals to reach, and that's good, because that means you're working towards something, you're staying on track and
a year ago, I feel like being a state champion was aiming high, and so now that I just have to keep going higher
Yep.
and higher, I feel like.
Absolutely.
Yeah, keep going.
This is awesome. I think I know this was your goal and this was something that you achieved yourself, but I think the whole community would,
Yes.
like, is so excited and I mean is so pumped up right now for you, and I hope that you feel that and feel
I do, for
the
sure.
excitement that everyone has for you right
And
now.
it's
so
good. Social media has good and bad sides, and I think one of the best sides was people getting to see the videos of me and the pictures and the stuff my mom could share out, and I know people were live streaming it because it was hard for people to come watch.
Yeah.
So they got to see at least the videos, or they knew it directly after I won that I had won, and the outpour of support and just congratulations. It made me feel like very, very supported. And then the pep rally too. That was awesome. I got a little emotional there too because everyone was standing and all the teachers were there. And I don't think, even today, I'm still getting congratulations. And my friends are like, I can't believe we have a state champion sitting at our lunch table and stuff like that. And it means a lot too because they're just very proud of me. And though I know the whole school and the teachers are very, very, very proud of me, and they know how much work I put in. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk to me a little bit before we end today. Talk to me a little bit about how much work you've put in. How long have you been working towards this? How long have you been wrestling, and then I assume you've been wrestling since
I started
were
wrestling
tiny.
in 7th grade.
Okay. Oh,
So,
in 7th
yes,
grade.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my brother's
that's
been
different.
wrestling. Yeah. So it was always kind of, my brother started wrestling when he was in kindergarten, and when we became the same size, because my brother's very big, he's a very big kid. I would go to I would go to tournaments with him, and I would warm him up. And my job was to sprawl or defend a shot or just be a little practice dummy kind of, and just do the best I could. And then I watched a little girl, Jocelyn Holiday. I watched her wrestle at the Wilton tournament, and I watched her pin a boy in 10 seconds, and she was smiling the whole time and came up the mat laughing and was like, she jumped into her dad's arms, and her dad was so proud of her. And I was like, that would be so fun. How cool would it be? And Jocelyn was younger than me. I think she was in 4th grade at the time, and I was in 5th or 6th grade. And then I really got to thinking about it, and I was like, I could do that. Why? Who's saying that I can't? Like, it would be cool to just try it. And at the time I played softball, and so my mom specifically was like, wrestling would make you really strong. You would have really good balance. Your core would be so strong for softball. You could hit the ball so far. And I played softball until last summer, until I started focusing on wrestling a little bit more. I went to 8 or 9 camps over the summer, went to a bunch of different summer practices, open mats, and really just started focusing more on wrestling because last year I was like, if I'm gonna be a state champion like I want to be, or I want to be on the podium, you have to put in the extra work and take advantage of the off season. So I did, and it was obviously leading up to season. I did do some out of club practices and things like that leading up to the season, and was putting in the time. And then practices every day after school at 4 o'clock, and you can be in there. You can be at the school till 7. So spending all the time you can, getting extras, watching your film, knowing what you can work on, running your hauls, running your sprints, doing your 300 jump ropes before you leave, finishing all your sit-ups. That's the kind of extra work, making sure that you're getting enough sleep, listening to your coaches when they say to put your phone down and go to bed. And I think that just focusing on yourself and being a little bit selfish too.
Yeah.
It sounds bad, but when you're an athlete and you're a student at the same time, you have to put yourself first and know where your goals are, and just remind yourself of those goals. That's why having a goal board in the room, looking at it every single day, is really good. And looking at those 3rd place medals on your wall and saying, I want those to be gold, and things like that, and just wanting it so bad, and making sure that you know what your goals are. I
love it.
I think that's what really pushed me, not only physically, the extra workouts, but mentally, just knowing where I need to be.
She's pretty awesome, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, she is.
I love it. Well, I can tell that you're going places, and I am so excited that you're here with me today. Thank you so much for coming down.
Thank you for the invitation.
Absolutely.
It was awesome to see that.
Yep. I am inspired, and I am sure that you're going to continue to inspire others. So keep working hard. I am excited to see where you go next, and to see you win again here in a few weeks, and just keep doing great things.
Thank you.
And I think I love what you say. Even when you don't win, you know, going out there and doing your best, and just keep crushing those goals.
It sounds
trying
really
your best.
cliche, but like you're either winning or you're learning, because I mean, every loss is an opportunity to get better, because you can go back and watch and see what you did wrong, and see where you went wrong, and drill that and work on it. And I had to thank my coaches, Mr. Dorman and Burkle and Bourne too, all giving me the opportunity to watch my film and helping me realize that's what you're doing wrong. Now let's work on it, and keeping me in line for sure.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I appreciate you coming so much, and thanks for bringing her down.
Thank you.
Thanks for having her.
I think it's so awesome. Thanks to the Wilton Community School for being so supportive and letting her come down this morning as well. We're all so proud of you, the whole community.
Thank you. I appreciate
thanks
it.
for being an inspiration for our youth as well. That's an important job, and I think that you're a perfect person for it. So
thank you so much.
We're gonna go to a quick commercial, and then we'll be back after that. But congratulations to you.
Thank you
And
so
if you see her out and about, make sure you give her a high five or
Fist
a clap or a fist bump. Fist bump, yeah.
Those are my favorite.
I'll be right back after this.
We just don't work out in a single plane of motion.
With a gorgeous tan, it's easy to be your sunny social self while hanging with friends, even the furry ones. Let yourself shine at Suntan.
How cool is she, right? On to a couple things that Hy-Vee has going on before we wrap up the show today. Our sponsor Hy-Vee has one of the favorite sales of the year. I feel like the truckload meat sale is something that a lot of people make a priority to come out to, and it is going on today, and we will have that. It's 4 days only, so today through Sunday, and you can come out. I have some of those deals. It's on the Hy-Vee Facebook page as well. We have some of those pulled up on the screen for you to check out, but come and head out to the parking lot. They have carts that they can fill up for you right out there, and you can get some really amazing deals on some of those meats that you guys are waiting to stock up on. So don't miss out on that. Also, don't forget this weekend to come out and try the new wall burgers here inside your Muscatine Hy-Vee as well. So that's right inside here. Tons of things to try. You can try a wall coction, you can try a shake, and tons of amazing burgers as well. One more thing that I wanted to remind you about is the shirts for child abuse awareness that PVC, a local nonprofit group, is selling. So if you want to order your shirt, check out the scroll that scrolls throughout the show, and we have flyers posted. You can check out PVC's Facebook group as well to get more information on how to order those. They're super cute, and they have adult and youth sizes available, and the proceeds from those go to a really great cause. So please help out a local nonprofit do some more good in our community by purchasing a shirt. They'll be on the show later on here in a couple weeks to talk about some of the things that they are doing out in the community. But until then, order up one of those shirts and support them and all the great things that they are doing. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed that interview as much as I did, and continue watching Hannah and her successes, and in a few weeks we'll be definitely cheering her on as she continues just smashing those goals that she has on that goal board. So we will be back again tomorrow for another great show on Muscatine Today Show. But until then, don't forget that kindness is free. So spread that stuff wherever you go.